Well, good morning. Welcome back to the presentation series that we're having on world geography during the coronavirus pandemic. For those of you that are coming for the first time, my name is Gary LeFort. I'm president of Business and Government Services, a small consultant firm in Hampden, Massachusetts. I'm also a retired associate professor from the American International College in Springfield, Massachusetts. Today what we're going to do is go over the questions and answers for Geography Test 13 that I gave you last week. And we'll end today's presentation and go over a new set of questions in Geography Test 14. In developing these questions, I don't try to focus on just one region of the world. Instead, I try to develop questions from the different regions of the world. And when I say different regions of the world, if you look at this chart, you'll see what I mean. The world really can be broken up into 6 regions. First, you have Region 1, which is the Americas. Region 2 is Europe. Region 3 is the Russian Federation. Region 4 is Asia. And Region 5 is Sub-Saharan Africa. And Region 6 is the Middle East, sometimes referred to as the Arab world. And so you'll see that the questions in the test are based on these different regions that make up the world that we live in. Let's go into the questions. I will give you question and answer. 1. Name the mountain pass that connects Afghanistan and Pakistan. The answer is the Khyber Pass. It's in the northwestern part of Pakistan. Question 2. What is the name of the penal colony island off the coast of South America near French Guiana? The answer is Devil's Island. It is owned by France and was used by France as a penal colony from 1852 to 1953. Question 3. Name the capital of the following countries. The answer is Afghanistan, it's Kabul. The capital of Syria is Damascus. The capital of Chad is N'Djamena. The capital of Germany is Berlin. And the capital of Guyana is Georgetown. Question 4. Italy is separated from the former Yugoslavian countries in Eastern Europe by what body of water? And the answer is the Adriatic Sea. Question 5. Where is the Isthmus of Corinth located? The Pacific. The answer is in Greece. It connects the Gulf of Corinth with the Saronic Gulf in the Aegean Sea. Question 6. In what country would you find these historical cultural sites? The answer is Bagan, which is Myanmar, which is in Southeast Asia. Delphi, which is in Greece, which is in Europe. The Leaning Tower of Pisa, which is in Italy, Europe. The Ellora Caves, which is in India. And the Palace of Knossos, which is in the country of Greece on the island of Crete. Question 7. Zanzibar in Tanzania merged in 1964 to become what present-day country? The answer is Tanzania. Question 8. Where are the Azores located? The Pacific is a territory of what country? The Azores, a territory of Portugal, is an archipelago of 9 islands in the Atlantic Ocean, about 1,000 miles west of Lisbon, Portugal. Question 9. Name the 2 major rivers in the People's Republic of China, the PRC. The answer is the Yangtze River, which is the longest river in the PRC and is well known for the 3 Gorges Dam that China just recently built. The second river is the Yellow River, which is the second longest river in the PRC and is considered the center of the ancient Chinese civilization. A very, very old river, very, very important in the history of China. And question 10. Name the mountain range in the Russian Federation that acts as a natural boundary between Europe and Asia. And the answer is the Ural Mountains, sometimes referred to as the Urals. That concludes Geography Test 13. Now let me give you the questions for Geography Test number 14. Again, these are 10 questions, not just from one region of the world, but from the different regions of the world that I discussed earlier in the presentation. Question 1. What is the only sea on Earth with no coastline? In what ocean do you find this sea? 2. What two countries border the Dead Sea? 3. Name the capital of the following countries: Peru, Dominican Republic, Romania, Central African Republic, and Bahrain. Question 4. What new island in the Atlantic Ocean near Iceland was formed by volcanic eruptions in 1963 and has become a natural laboratory for plant and animal wildlife observations? Question 5. What present-day country was known as Mesopotamia, is often called the cradle of civilization? Question 6. Where is Wake Island? Be Pacific. Is a territory of what country? Question 7. Name the largest, most famous structure on the Acropolis in Athens, Greece. Question 8. Where is San Marino located? Be Pacific. What is San Marino famous for? Question 9. Name the 3 largest gulfs in the world in descending order. And question 10. Name the world's largest waterfall. In what country is it found in? This concludes geography test number 14. Next week I'll have the answers for you. For those of you that are interested in downloading the geography questions for this presentation and past presentations to include the answers for the presentations that have been given to date, then you can go to the website eastlongmeadowweather.org, where you can download the questions, the answers, and also the videos of all the presentations that have been given to this date. What I'd like to do now is spend a few minutes showing you some photos of the historical cultural sites that I mentioned earlier in the presentation. And I'll try to give you a little bit more background information about each one of these sites. Now, the first one is Bagan. It's located in Myanmar. It's a sacred Buddhist landscape from the 11th to 13th century. Bagan was the capital of this regional empire. A very, very, very important region, or important empire as far as its influence on the present-day country of Myanmar. The historical site, Bagan. The next site is Delphi, located in Greece, going back to the 8th century BC. It's an ancient Greek sanctuary on Mount Parnassus. It's dedicated to the Greek god Apollo, and it was the home of the Oracle of Delphi, which was a place where the Greek leadership would go to get a vision of what the future held for Greece, especially at times when they were going into a war. So Delphi was very, very, very important in the ancient Greek civilization. The third cultural site is the Leaning Tower of Pisa, located in Italy, in the town of Pisa. Was completed in 1372. It's a freestanding bell tower for the Cathedral of Pisa. Matter of fact, this photo here really gives a nice correlation of where the tower is in relation to the cathedral. It's about approximately 60 meters high. That's probably 180, 190 feet high. It has, on the south side, 296 steps. On the north side, it's got 294 steps. The reason between the two steps is because the fact that the tower is leaning. This has been a problem that goes back to the time it was built. It had a very, very muddy foundation, with the end results almost immediately it started to lean. And there's been concern over the years that it would eventually fall over. Starting in the 1993 time frame up until the 2001 time frame, there was major engineering work done to keep the tower from leaning. And matter of fact, as a result of that work, the tower is actually slowly starting to upright itself. So the Leaning Tower of Pisa will be around for many more years to come. The next historical site is the Ellora Caves in India, in the Maharashtra region. It goes back to the 600, 1,000 year time frame. It's one of the largest rock-cut monastery temple caves in the world, featuring Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain artwork in that country. The last photo that I want to talk about is the Minoan Palace at Knos in the island of Crete. It goes back to roughly 2000 BC time frame. It's a Bronze Age civilization in Crete that flourished, like I said, around the 2000 BC time frame to about the 11,000 BC time frame. It was considered a very, very highly advanced civilization, considering the age that we're talking about. It's reflected in its palaces. Unfortunately, I don't think this photo gives the justice of the palace itself. It's quite large, and some of the artwork that they've been able to excavate over the years is very, very impressive. I've been to the site in the past, matter of fact, a number of times. I've always been amazed by the advancement of the civilization, and not only getting running water throughout the palace, they had a latrine system as well, and a very, very structured society as far as the roles that not only the nobility but the common people played in the palace. With the brief overview of these historical sites, so what I'd like to do now is bring the presentation to a close. Next week I'll have the answers for Geography Test 14, and I'll give you a new set of questions for Geography Test 15. Hope you found this interesting, informative. You have been, in fact, tracking these different answers as far as where they are around the world. This certainly will give you a better understanding of where the countries are, and hopefully it's helped you develop your own bucket list of countries that you would like, or places that you would like to visit in the foreseeable future, especially now that the corona pandemic seems to be slowing down here in the United States. Most of the U.S. states are now reopened. Thank you very much for coming. I look forward to seeing you next week. Be safe and stay healthy. Thank you.